Hi, good afternoon or good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the webinar collaboration by KulOn and Great Global Hanlyn, pursuing career as nurse in UK. My name is Tia, I'm from KulOn. So, selamat malam teman-teman semua, sejawat sekalian dari nurse. Selamat malam, perkenalkan saya Tia dari KulOn. As a brief introduction about KulOn, KulOn is an e-learning platform for medical students, nursing student, midwifery student, as well as dentistry student. So, as a platform, we provide learning materials that is accessible from everywhere by anyone. Jadi kami adalah platform pembelajaran online, and in this today's webinar, we collaborate with Great Global Hanlyn to provide you with the information on how to pursue career in UK. Di sini kami akan provide information, kita akan banyak diskusi terkait bagaimana ya opportunity atau tantangan atau kesempatan untuk bekerja di Inggris. So, in this event, the latest registered participant is 163. Jadi, we hope this program will enlighten you with the information you need for your future career. So, rekan-rekan sekalian, this is our schedule for today. Let me show you the schedule for today. Yeah. We will have 3 speakers today. Akan ada 3 pembicara. The first speaker, the name is Yasmin. She will talk about the life as nurse in UK. And then we have Pak Trigo. Pak Trigo akan menjelaskan mengenai apa itu Great Global Hanlyn dan apa yang bisa dibantukan dari Great Global Hanlyn untuk for your future career. And the last one, we have Michael Jones that will talk about medical training program, as well as followed by the question and answer session. So in this webinar, we would like to invite you, if you have any questions or pertanyaan or anything related to how to have a career in UK, please do type the question in the chat room box. So, is everyone with us today? I think I need to say hello to Yasmin. Hello. 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 Oh, I'm sorry, you're still muted.
Hello.
Hello, how are you, Yasmin?
I'm very well, thank you. How is everybody?
Very well, too. Okay, I think we don't need to wait further, too. Maybe you have about 30 minutes, I guess, to talk about how is your life as a nurse there. Untuk teman-teman sekalian, yang akan dibicarakan oleh Yasmin adalah tentang bagaimana kehidupan seorang nurse. I guess you're a registered nurse?
Yeah, senior theatre nurse. So I work in the operating room. Okay. So so am I going to start talking now? Do you want me to start talking?
Yes, sure. Maybe I'll try to talk a little bit. So, teman-teman sekalian, Yasmin adalah senior nurse, jadi mungkin yang perlu banyak informasi terkait bagaimana kehidupan di UK bisa dipertanyakan di kolom chat box, okay? So, Yasmin, please proceed your presentation. You have about 30 minutes. The time is yours.
Okay. So, good evening, everyone. Good evening, Jakarta, Indonesia. So my name is Yasmin. So I work as a senior nurse in St. Thomas's Hospital here in London. So it's very central. So it's right in Westminster. So I don't know if you know London Eye or Big Ben. So literally I can see them from my windows. So very central. I've been here for over 6 years now. So I started in Southampton General Hospital. So we flew here 2014. So I'm originally from the Philippines. So my trust, Southampton General Hospital, they went to the Philippines and then recruited probably 48 of us. And then we flew here around March time. And that time we didn't have OSCE yet. So we just had the overseas nursing program. So now things are different. So you do your OSCE theory, as far as I know, in your country, and then fly here and then do the practical examination. So the practical examination is basically you'll be more hands-on. You will be asked to do stuff as if you are doing the clinical setting. So one of the speakers will talk further on that later today. And so I'm just going to move forward to the rest of the presentation. Okay, so I'm going to talk briefly about the education system, the working culture here in the UK, the salary, the benefits, and the shifts as well. Okay, so if you have got questions, then feel free to ask through the chat and then we will address them later on. Okay, so we will start with the education system. So again, I'm going to be speaking in behalf of my experience. So it was overseas nursing program. The purpose of that is for you to obtain an NMC PIN number. So that is your license basically. So it's very individual. So you have to go through theory, practical, and all the documentations for you to be able to obtain the NMC PIN. So you can research on that more on gov.uk on the internet. So it will tell you everything about it, or the Nursing and Midwifery Council website. Okay. So I think it was around 2014 when they introduced the OSCE. So as what I've mentioned, the OSCE, so you do the theory bit in your country and then they fly you here and then you do the practical examination. Further on that will be discussed later on, okay? And then once you qualify, you will be a band 5. So you can also see on the website as to the bands. Here in the UK, your level of expertise will be by banding. So you usually as nurses upon coming here, we will be working as a band 4 to start with. The salary probably around £21,000 per annum. I'm not sure, but again, you can check on the website. It depends on where you are as well in the country. So for example, if you're in London, because the lifestyle and the cost of living is a bit expensive. So sometimes they are a bit higher compared to the rest of the country. So again, you will start as a band 4. Once you qualify as a nurse, once you have the NMC PIN, and once you finish all your competencies, then you will become a band 5. So nurses are band 5. So then you can say to yourself that you are a nurse if you start as a band 5. The good thing about here in the UK is they're very supportive with continuing education. So throughout my entire experience here, I've been through a lot of leadership and management courses for free, and it was done in a university. So they give us a few weeks of intensive uni course, for example, depending on what the area needs. So you can obviously request if you can have that course. So on my part, I did the anesthetic course, I did leadership, intermediate leadership and management course, and then the foundation management course. Those are, if ever you're going to be paying for them personally, those are quite expensive. But in my case, it was all free from the trust that I work with. And that's the good thing about in this country, because they will really provide you with continuing education. They will support you with improving yourself and better, to better your experience and to better your knowledge and skills for free. And that's the good thing about here. And then you can then, if you want to apply further for like a band 6 or band 7, then you will use those courses basically. So yeah, so they are very supportive in relation to that. With regards to the salary, again, with the banding, it's on the internet. So now going next would be the working culture here in England. When I arrived here in 2014, I was really shy because, I've never seen so many white people or people with different races ever in my entire life. And then you work with them. So that was also one of the things that admired me most, is because they see you as just just like anybody else. You don't feel alienated, you don't feel isolated. They are very welcoming. And I don't know about Indonesia, but in my country, like doctors, for example, or other physicians, other healthcare professionals, we tend to address them as superior to nurses, but here everybody is equal. So you can obviously talk to the surgeon or to the doctor by their name. So you don't have to address them as doctor or sir. You don't have to do that because everybody is equal. You are as important as them. So that is the culture here. You are listened to. You are very much part of the team. So you don't feel like you are, lesser than them. So they would be, they would really encourage you to be assertive and to be, just to be an important member of the team. Because when I arrived here, I usually, address them by like sir or Dr. Jones or Dr. Whatever, but they will always tell me that, no, call me by my first name, because, we are all the same. So that is the good thing about here. And they're also very supportive with regards to your own capabilities. For example, if you are not comfortable doing a particular task, they would ask you how are you doing? Are you okay? Are you happy? And then you can be open with, if you've got any problems with it. It's not like you're going to be assigned to this department and you feel like, you know what, this is very difficult for me. I'm struggling a lot. You can tell that to them and they can find a way to make you happy. So at the end of the day, what makes you happy, they're all for it. So that's one of the fears that I had before flying here, that what if I'm not going to be as competent or I'm not going to be as efficient. But again, when you arrive here, they're very supportive. They will constantly check on you whether you are doing very well, or you're struggling, or are you happy, or is there anything they can do, basically. So don't worry about it. They will be all, there to help you grow and to help you get your qualification. Also, here in the UK, you've got NHS and you've also got private hospitals. So NHS is the National Health Service. So basically, it's for us back home, in the Philippines or maybe in Indonesia, it's like the public hospital. It's open for everybody else. That doesn't necessarily mean that they are not as equipped as the private sector. Most of the time, they are even more advanced compared to the private sector. The reason for that is because the government is putting a lot of funds for the NHS. So it's one of their budgets every year. So even if the word public, you will think that it's not going to be as extravagant or as advanced. But you know what? A lot of them are actually quite good, better than private sector. So NHS, different salaries again, depending on your band. Private, they're a bit more, they pay higher. So they probably pay twice, 3 times the salary that you will earn in the NHS. But also that comes with lesser annual leave, lesser benefits. NHS benefits wise, they will give you over 5 weeks worth of annual leave, and also they will give you, for example, with our women out there, maternity leave, paid maternity leave. I think it's 6 months they will pay you, and then if you want to extend to a year, they will also you can also arrange that with them. Sometimes you will have maternity leave as long as 2 years. It's up to you when you are happy to go back. And the good thing about the NHS as well is they have got like the Nhs Pension and also the national pension. So basically, your salary, you will also build up your pension whilst you're working in the NHS. Private sectors, not so much. There are a lot of private sectors that do pensions as well, but again, not everyone. You need to check if ever you decide on working privately. But as far as I know, if you're under a working visa, the moment you come here, you need to stick to that employer because they are the ones basically sponsoring you for the working visa. So if you have a working visa, you should have a sponsor. So whoever that sponsor is, you need to be able to work for that until you get your indefinite leave to remain or your citizenship or naturalization. Then you can obviously work either part-time in the private sector or part-time in a different trust. But with regards to moving jobs, you can do that. For example, if you come here and you work in a particular trust and you feel like, oh, I got a friend in London, for example, I want to be with her. So what you can do is apply to a different hospital, and then hopefully they will sponsor your working visa. And that's how you move from different trusts if you got a working visa. So the important bit there is you have got a sponsored, you have got a trust or a hospital that is sponsoring your working visa, and you're happy to work there. So by the way, the trusts is the name of the hospitals here. So it's usually trust, for example, Southampton University Trust. So sometimes trust means they're NHS hospitals, okay? And then with NHS, yes, you can also do a lot of overtime work in bank shifts. So overtime, they can be as high as twice the rate of your normal shift. Bank shifts, so bank shifts means shift that deals with private patients, because sometimes your hospital will also have private patients, especially on a weekend. So, or maybe past the, usually weekend, you will have bank shifts. So bank shifts means you get extra money, you work the same shift, but you are paid higher. So it's like your overtime basically. And you can do that. It depends on you whether you want to work on your day off. You can do that. The shifts here are usually 4 days a week, 12-hour shifts, including breaks. Okay, so 12-hour shifts, 4 weeks. So that means you got 3 days off. So you can use either 2 of them to work as an overtime in the trust, extra money. Sometimes, if you really want to work hard, you can have like twice your normal salary. Okay, so a lot of people will say that, you know, UK doesn't pay much compared to America, Canada, Australia, but I said that myself before I came here. But now when I'm here, actually, you can save a lot because the opportunity to work more is there. So on top of your normal shifts, you can work extra, at least 2 shifts. Depends on you, depends on the trust, and depends on your contract, basically. So you can earn twice as much as you earn. For example, with me, I started off with £15 an hour in Southampton. That was in Southampton. Maybe things have changed. And then when I do overtime or when I do a bank shift, the hour is sometimes as high as 25 to even 40 pounds an hour, depending on where you are and what area that's going to be. The reason why it changes because some trusts need more nurses and some trusts don't really need a lot. So for those hospitals or those trusts that need more nurses, then they would obviously increase the salary so that they can invite agency or overtime workers or people that want to work and on a bank shift, basically. So you will know all of that once you start working in a hospital. You can ask your colleagues, you can ask your managers. They are usually very, very supportive. And then moving forward would be, so let me just, so I've talked about the benefits benefits. I have talked about, so the good thing about, like, if you're not all about the money, if you want to travel, for example, I mean, London is literally bang on the center of Europe, not really the center, but is very close to other European countries. And you can fly to Spain, to Italy, to other European countries for as low as £20 return. So that is like your hour rate. For example, if you want to do overtime, you can buy a ticket and then just fly there. Obviously, you're going to be working under a working visa, so you need to apply for a different visa if you want to go there until you got naturalization or you're a British citizen, basically. Then you can fly depending on what your passport will allow. But Europe, for now, if you come here, then you can apply for what we call as a Schengen visa, so that you can go to other neighboring European countries. And the fact that you have got a working visa, the right to work in the UK, it'd be very easy for them to grant you a Schengen visa, and you can travel all around Europe. And also here in the UK, it is very beautiful. Like literally, for example, depending on where you are, Manchester, Liverpool, London, or you want the countryside, Brighton, near the beach, near the mountains, or you want the city life, you want the quiet, quaint towns, you've got those options. So moving from one trust to another is allowed as long as you have got a sponsor to sponsor your working visa, basically. So first is they would usually sponsor your working visa for 3 years. Okay. After 3 years, you need to sponsor, you need to renew. If you want to renew your visa, you can renew your visa for another 3 years, working visa. It depends on if it's going to be on the same trust or if it's going to be on a different trust. It's up to you, as long as you get a sponsor. And then on the 5th year here in the UK, you can apply for a residency. So that means you have got the right to live here as a permanent resident. That means that you are not tied to any contract anymore with a hospital. You can either, if you want to do private, just private, and you want to do private. If you want to do NHS or you want to do different hospital sidelines or, just agency staff, you can do that as well. Okay. And then on the 6th year here in the UK, you can apply for naturalization for a British passport. So you can be British. It's up to you whether, I'm not sure if your country will allow dual citizenship, but you can also do that. Anything else? Yeah, I think I covered most of it. So yeah, so Taya or Tia, anything else that you want me to discuss?
I think that's covered a lot of things you've already talked about. I think we can discuss more in the discussion session, especially because there are some questions about maybe just some preview from the registration form. There's someone asking about this is a woman, so Safitri Wulandari from Surabaya, asking how to be ophthalmic nurse. Is it different from being a nurse and ophthalmic nurse? I mean, specialization, I guess. And then there's question about, I'm sorry to ask about this, but is there any racism in UK hospital, especially for nurse? I think you covered that already before.
Okay.
And some other question that maybe we can talk more in the discussion session.
Okay, no worries. If you want me to answer them now, I can do that if you want. Or if you want to move to the next speaker, that's not a problem.
I think if you don't mind, we will like to proceed to the next speaker.
No worries.
Okay.
Yeah. Perfect.
Okay, I will try to summarize a little bit about what Yasmin has talked to us. Jadi Yasmin tadi sempat menjelaskan tentang education system yang di sana ya teman-teman ya. Jadi kalau mau ke sana diperlukan adanya namanya license number. Untuk keterangannya ada sebenarnya di gov.uk tadi sempat disebutkan. Kemudian tadi juga dijelaskan bahwa salary-nya sekitar 21.000. Am I correct? Maybe nanti kita akan lebih banyak tentang ini ya untuk salary-nya. Karena tadi juga ada yang personal chat tanya terkait salary di sana. Jadi salary is quite a nice topic to talk in the discussion, I guess. Kemudian tadi disebutkan juga bahwa tidak ada perbedaan ya. Jadi sama dan setara di antara nurse dan juga doctors. Kemudian everybody is equal. And then ada izin-izin yang diberikan juga, sudah dijelaskan oleh Pak Trigo juga di chat room. Kemudian bahkan di sana juga kalau mau pindah tempat ataupun ada hal-hal terkait keuangan lainnya juga dibantu seperti itu. I guess mungkin itu that is the quick summarize about what Yasmin has talking about. Can we move to the next speaker, which is Pak Trigo? Are you ready?
Mbak Tia nggak perlu saya ini. You have already doing a very good job.
No. Jadi di sini ada Pak Trigo. Selamat malam Pak Trigo.
Selamat malam semuanya. Assalamualaikum yang lain.
Waalaikumsalam. Jadi Pak Trigo kalau dari susunan acaranya akan sedikit menjelaskan atau memperkenalkan ya apa itu Great Global Hanlyn seperti itu ya Pak?
Ya, hampir seperti itu. Ini slide pertama ya. Jadi
Oke,
Great
monggo
Global Hanlyn,
dipersilakan.
iya terima kasih. Great Global Hanlyn itu sebetulnya inisiatif dari Dr. Selingka ya, dengan Pak Teddy komisaris kita. Dan saya di-approach, memang dari dulu saya kepengen membantu orang-orang Indonesia, terutama yang orang-orang cacat untuk pendidikan di sini. Tapi kemudian ada ide untuk membuat rekrutmen orang-orang Indonesia, nurse yang katanya kalau dari Indonesia, dari manifesto Pak Presiden, jangan ngirim pembantu saja TKI, kita skill worker juga gitu. Ya. Jadi jangan model sama pembantu yang dikirim, kita skill. Nah dari itu inisiatif ini terjalan. Kemudian saya punya kontak yaitu dengan Michael. Michael adalah Apollo Buckingham Health Science CEO-nya, dan dari perkenalkan oleh our advisor ya, Pak Simon Yates, kita ketemu di sana dan kemudian Michael cocok sekali dengan yang apa kita bikin gitu. Jadi sebetulnya kita ini tadinya hanya untuk membantu masyarakat Indonesia, terutama perawat dan dokter untuk bisa bekerja di sini. Jadi kita ini sifatnya membantu, itu yang pertama. Next slide, please. Nah, siapa kita? Nah, ini who are we ya? Kita ini sebetulnya hampir kayak orang yang ingin membantu, volunteer, ya banyak sekali lebih ke kemanusiaan unsurnya ya. Bukan hanya semata-mata hanya untuk kapitalis ya. Tapi secara worldwide kita itu secara mendunia Great Global itu kita membantu profesional klinikal yang mau bekerja di luar negeri, terutama di Inggris yang sedang membutuhkan. Dan yang jelas pasaran kita ya terus terang Indonesia, di mana kita diminta oleh Inggris untuk mengisi kekosongan kebutuhan mereka dalam bidang medical. Nah, itu dan kemudian keuntungannya ya tentu saja dari nurse-nurse kita akan bisa lebih menggali ilmu ya di Inggris. Itu salah satunya. Dan juga semua dibayarin. Gitu. Jadi fokusnya memang ke healthcare profesional, dan kita memberikan seperti ya internship training dan sponsorship. Dananya ada dari NHS sendiri. Tapi ya ada beberapa kualifikasi yang diminta tentunya. Nah, next slide please, Mbak Dila. Ya, ini logo kita ya, misi kita, goal kita ya, tujuannya ya, untuk bisa enrich di UK dan di mana kita memberikan opportunity untuk semuanya ya, karena di UK seperti Yasmin bilang tadi, kita itu semua equal, jadi semuanya harus bisa memberikan opportunity dengan medical dan healthcare profesional dari Indonesia ke Inggris dan lainnya. Sementara ini Inggris. Next slide, please. Nah, ini yang paling bagus ya, dari Inggris itu seperti Yasmin ya, udah lama di sini, dia dari Filipina itu terkenal sekali ya, di sini sudah banyak sekali. Dan itu dilihat statistiknya itu luar biasa ya. Jadi dari EU country, dari Afrika, dari Asia itu sebetulnya nomor 2. Tapi sekarang sudah nomor 1 ya, karena kebanyakan sekarang dari EU country kan Brexit, kita keluar dari Eropa, jadi mereka pulang ke negara mereka. Gitu. Jadi ini kesempatannya luar biasa dan kebutuhannya luar biasa. Kalau dilihat dari 1000 NSF staff ya, itu ada statistik United Kingdom 843 terus lihat, tapi EU 56, Asia itu 43. Nah, Asia itu belum termasuk kita ya. Nah, nanti mudah-mudahan kalau kita sudah masuk, kita bisa lebih dari itu. Next slide, please. Nah, ini jelas vakansi ada 20.000. Ya, ini hanya untuk perawat ya. Dan itu juga salah satu fakta di sini yang perlu diketahui. Dan itu waktu itu City Mayor dari kru sangat senang dengan inisiatif dari Dr. Lingka dan kita untuk GGHanlyn untuk bisa bekerja sama dengan kru kota dekat dengan Manchester. Next slide, please. ini sebetulnya saya mau ngopi Pak Jokowi ya, rasain dengan saya ya. Jadi ini waktunya buat Indonesia untuk healthcare, kita sebagai profesional healthcare itu harus go global ya. Jadi jangan malu-malu, jangan, pokoknya harus dicoba. Dan kita akan membantu, bahasa Inggrisnya dibantu, yang lain-lain akan dibantu. Nah inilah GGHanlyn role-nya ya, membantu kalian semua semaksimal mungkin untuk go global secara profesional dalam bidang kesehatan. Next slide, please. Nah, sekarang kenapa harus Inggris? Pertama, Inggris butuh banyak lowongan. Kemudian GGHanlyn sudah membuat tim kita itu, Mas Aho, ada Ami itu, Ami nggak tahu mana ini nongkrong di mana, tapi ada di ruangan, ada yang lainnya timnya Mbak Dila sekarang yang kita itu membantu untuk membuat isi sekali untuk gampang buat kalian bisa apply ya, bisa untuk mendaftar di online. Dan eksklusif, package-nya itu eksklusif. Kita itu nggak mancela-mencele, datang ya enggak. Kita ada Michael John itu. Michael John is the guarantee. He will give us the opportunity gitu. Nah, yang paling jelas itu saya bilang tadi, akses untuk grant sama pinjaman itu sebetulnya nggak perlu pinjaman, tapi sudah didanain kalau sudah membuat kualifikasinya sudah lewat, bahasa Inggris nomor 1 dulu, nanti semua itu bisa dibiayai oleh NHS ini ya. Nah, juga setelah itu ya, bagusnya di sini ya, seperti Justin bilang ya, you can study further. Mereka akan membantu kalian untuk kemanapun tujuan kalian untuk sebagai spesialis atau yang lebih keren lah. Jadi bukan hanya jongosnya nurse, tapi perawat, tapi lebih mantep lah pokoknya posisinya gitu. Jadi kayak Yasmin sekarang senior nurse di tempatnya Westminster lagi. St. Thomas Hospital itu paling terkenal ya di Inggris. Jadi itu salah satu kesempatan yang luar biasa. Next slide, please. Nah ini saya cepetan aja ini karena step-step ini ada di website kita ya. Jadi mohon kalian kalau bisa langsung aja ke website, dan kalau misalnya kurang tahu bahasanya ya suratin kita. Kita pasti akan membantu ya. Yang jelas itu harus qualified perawat dulu ya. Dan kemudian register dengan kita tentu saja. Kemudian harus bisa bahasa Inggris. Nah, ini paling penting. Karena bahasa Inggris kita itu masih kurang ya dalam beberapa hal, bukan hanya perawat tapi dari skill untuk seller, untuk apa saja itu kita perlu ya. Dan kemudian yang paling jelas itu nanti akan diinterview oleh GGHanlyn, dan GGHanlyn pasti nanti mengirim kualifikasi kalian ke GTEC dan NHS sendiri nanti interview terakhir. Nah, setelah lulus IELTS-nya 7,0 itu belum tentu diterima, harus interview dulu. Dan setelah itu baru CBT test lagi, itu yang computer based test-nya, dan kemudian baru diberikan sponsorship pesawat, akomodasi, hidup selama 3 bulan di Inggris gratis. Nah, ini penting sekali karena dananya nanti akan dikeluarkan oleh NHS. Jadi itu ada ya, take 4 week resident cost in crew ya. Nanti 4 minggu itu nanti di crew tempatnya Michael, nanti Michael bisa cerita itu tentang Apollo residensinya. Dan setelah 4 minggu itu mereka harus lulus OSCE-nya. Nah, ini OSCE salah satu persyaratan untuk menjadi perawat di Inggris, itu sekarang harus begitu. Nah, setelah lulus OSCE nanti diterangkan oleh Michael ya, kalau nggak pas pertama bisa 2 kali bisa, tapi harus biaya sendiri tesnya. Nah, setelah itu baru bisa registrasi dengan di Nurse and Medical Council di sini. Nah, itulah yang ditujuannya kita pertama. Jadi waktu lagi training ini 4 minggu adalah level 4 atau ya 4. Tapi kalau sudah lulus nanti level 5. Semuanya mulai dari level 5. Next, please. Nah, ini komparisi aja ya, perbedaan dari dokter sama untuk nurse ya. Jadi ini semuanya nanti OSCE-nya ditujukan di itu, Mbak Dila udah lihat OSCE ada di Northampton. Nah, ini nanti semuanya ditanggung sama Michael John itu, ada orangnya. Nah, so Michael John will assist you as maximum to provide you dengan OSCE examination nursing and midwifery di Northampton. Nah, ini semua sudah didesain seperti itu, membantu kalian secara gampang. Dan yang satu lagi perlu saya katakan, saat ini, nah, ya nggak apa-apa ke package, nggak apa-apa, Mbak Dila ke package, nggak apa-apa. Next one ya. Nah, ini jelas kan, free OSCE test, free OSCE training, free flight dari Indonesia loh. Tiketnya udah digratisin. Masa nggak mau ya? Harus kerja keras tapi akomodasi, transport sudah ada. Gajinya juga waktu training juga sudah dikasih loh, bener. Mbak Tia ketawa kan. Ini seperti kalau orang Indonesia ketiban duren namanya kan. Nah, sudah dikasih semua. Nah, kalau perlu lagi grant sama loan juga dikasih, ada additional cost. Nah, gitu kan. Jadi garansi employment contract dengan NHS. Nah, itu kita harus tahu itu karena itu nggak gampang bisa mendapatkan sponsorship semacam ini. Tapi ya itu ya harus benar-benar mengikuti aturan, mengikuti kualifikasinya harus tepat. Nah, ini yang saya inginkan. Dan sekarang kita malah membuka, saya minta lagi sudah dengan Michael, kita memberikan 5 kesempatan untuk 50 perawat sekarang yang Inggrisnya masih jeblok, akan digratisin online. Tuh, ini salah satu kesempatan nih. 50 siapa yang daftar cepet-cepetan ini digratisin online untuk bisa lulus IELTS test. Nah, ini Mbak Tia nanti bisa nerangin lagi sama yang lainnya. Itu Mbak Angelica Intan mungkin dengerin juga ya, Mbak Intan. Jadi bisa tahu bahwa ini ada gratisan 50 peserta bisa gratis untuk latihan bahasa Inggris biar lulus IELTS test dari NHS. Oke, next slide please. Nah, ini akomodasi kita. Nah, ini tempatnya Michael ini. Ya, jadi saya sudah ke sana, saya sudah lihat sendiri. Ada gymnya, ada teater movie teaterannya ada 2. Mau film apa aja bisa diputerin. Masakannya nanti juga orang Indonesia ya, jadi ada masakan Indonesia sudah jelas. Halal food pasti, di situ banyak juga halal food. Tapi computer center sudah ada. Jadi di situ semua ada. Kalau mau lebih jelas, kita ada websitenya, ke websitenya GGHanlyn, diterangin semua di situ. Nah nanti saya minta mungkin tim untuk transfer ke bahasa Indonesia ya, jadi lebih jelas. Itu kitchennya sendiri. Kalau nggak suka makanannya orang lain ya orang sendiri. Nah itu malah Michael sudah pasang itu kordennya udah merah putih buat kita itu yang paling atas itu udah Indonesia banget. Tinggal wayangnya aja nih Mbak Tia. Next one please. So gaji, nah ini paling penting kan gaji. Tahunya mau salary, what salary we have ya. Nah ini bahan pertama kualifikasi adalah 24.907 pound. Itu setahun. Jadi setahun sekitar 443 juta rupiah, tergantung kursnya ya. Kita lagi kuat sekarang, jadi mungkin turun ya. Tapi itu di situ. Jadi sampai segitu. Ya. Sampai 544 juta. Nah ini nggak tahu di Indonesia berapa, tapi ini kesempatan. Kalau udah nurse spesialis itu udah sampai 558 juta sampai 674 juta. Nah itu salary-nya loh ya. Jadi tergantung nanti daerah mana. Kayak Yasmin was said bilang kalau di London is high place lebih gede lagi dia apanya gajinya. Nah itu nanti bisa dilihat ya di website itu semua ada keterangannya sampai band ke-8 itu band 8 ya kelas 8 itu sudah wah lumayan lah. Kayaknya triliun itu ya, 1,5 triliun. Mbak Tia mungkin mau pindah sini nanti. Oke, next one please, Mbak Tia. Nah, yang jelas, tanyalah diri kalian sendiri, apakah mau benar kerja di Inggris? Jadi jangan cuman seakan-akan hanya mau uangnya saja, atau apa harus ada minat, harus ada interest ya. Kita siap membantu, tapi yang serius, yang kita pasti bantu. Dan itulah, jadi ikuti naluri sampean bagaimana mau ikut enggak ini program ini. Tapi kalau memang mau ikut, kita bantu 100%. Nah, itulah dari saya, segini aja. Semua keterangan ada di website, ya Mbak Dila itu lihat ya poinnya websitenya, Great Global, ada Twitter juga kita, Facebook ada juga kalau yang sukanya Facebook. Kita main di Instagram juga ya. Jadi dan head office-nya di Southampton tempat saya. Southampton ini kota tempat Titanic dulu berlayar pertama kali. Nah, this is very important. Oke. Dan Indonesia sendiri di Surabaya. Nah, itu dari saya. Mudah-mudahan bisa jelas, lebih jelas. Silahkan kalau ada pertanyaan dilemparkan ke saya. Monggo, terima kasih Dr. Ya.
Baik, terima kasih Pak Trigo. Suara saya cukup jelas ya? Barangkali bisa dibantu. Jonathan, is
Jelas.
my sound clear? Oke, thank you. Ya.
Jelas. Ya.
Jadi teman-teman tadi sudah dijelaskan oleh Pak Trigo, sudah jelaskan sekali benefitnya di sana ya, salary-nya juga sudah jelas terpampang nyata tadi berapa itu di sana. So this is very nice information, dan kalau mungkin tadi ada yang sempat tahu tadi sore kami ada sesi untuk dokter, kemudian ini bahkan yang khusus nurse itu ada free programnya gitu ya. Jadi jangan lupa untuk follow di Instagramnya Great Global Hanlyn, ada di Instagram atau tadi yang sudah disebutkan sosial medianya. Just follow them. More information tentang free program and everything else is on there. So make sure you follow them. Okay, the next one, I guess the last speaker, Michael Jones, are you here with us?
I am, of course.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is Michael Jones. He is our last speaker for today. He will talk more about medical training programs. So for all the participants, after Great Global Hanlyn help you to go to UK, you will be at Michael Jones' place. I guess like that. Is that correct?
Thank you.
Yeah. So please, okay. You have about 50 minutes. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Well, firstly, how do you follow Yasmin and Trigo? Wow, well done, and great for you to organising this. So it's important to understand when you come to the UK, we want to look after you. We want you to succeed and to be part of our family. We want you to enjoy working here, get paid well, but also enjoy the lifetime. Yasmin gave great details about what it's like to be a nurse. So we want you to understand that our side is to work with the trusts at the hospitals to make sure you've got a job, but also to make sure that you pass the OSCE practical, which normally we would do within 6 to 12 weeks. So you will come into the UK and within 6 to 12 weeks, we will get you through OSCE. That's how good we are. And we have a 99% hit rate. So you're part of a very successful model, which will work with you to deliver. And we do that by combining some intensive training, some practical work. We have our own sim lab at the campus, a simulation ward. We have vast experience of doing this. You're in safe hands. And we also have hospitals that are going to give you a job day one you arrive. So once you pass the interview and you've done the discussions, you'll be employed from the day you arrive in the UK, and you'll be paid from the day you arrive in the UK. And that's very important. But also, you get paid more money, as Yasmin said, if you pass OSCE and are more experienced. So I think it's really important to understand that we want you to get past OSCE to get your career moving as soon as possible. And so do your trust sponsors, your employers, they want you to be quick. So you may only be on our campus between 6 and 12 weeks, but we're going to make sure you enjoy yourself. We have 2 cinemas, we have a disco, we have a bar. I'm sure you don't drink, but maybe. We have fantastic facilities, and we care about you. We have a very big well-being offer. We're ready to help you go forward. We have 12 lecture theatres. We have state-of-the-art learning facilities done using Crestron. So you'll be learning a lot and be taught the right way. So you've got a fantastic platform to succeed here, and that's why we have such a high rate. Our partners in this are called GTEC, Global Training Education Centre. They're part of the Northwest Health Trusts group. They're part of the NHS. They work with Health Education England. So with us, you get a bona fide, everything clear, everything legal. Your best start to career in the UK with the NHS is through GTEC and ourselves. And you should see that. The other thing to know about the NHS, and obviously the NHS is very important to me. I live here. We spend over £120 billion a year on health in the UK. This is a massive industry for us, and we are spending more and more money on it to get it right. We have the best scientific development. As you've seen recently, maybe that it's Oxford University working with the NHS as the fastest provider of a potential vaccine for the COVID-19. So we're state of the art, and our hospitals get that equipment very quickly. We move fast. We are aware of health. We look after our staff very well because you are the ultimate part of it. And that's the key point I want to make to you. When you come to the UK as a nurse, you are the most important cog in our network to make the whole NHS work. The doctors are secondly important, but nurses are more because you are the front line. As we've seen in COVID-19, it's been a massive experience, but nurses have been the biggest asset that we've got. And it's been tough. So you'll be respected. And I think people understand that. The experience you'll get here will be second to none. Better than I think in America, better than Australia, because they'll give you broader experience quicker. And as Yasmin quite correctly said, we can train you up in different areas. Your trust will want you to be skilled and do well because they want you to succeed. And that's what it's about. So we're all here for your future, short term. The examination process, we're experts at getting you through. OSCE, we know what we're doing. You just got to be able to pass the language level now and show that you want to come, and then we can arrange it. Is that enough?
Wow, very quick explanation.
You want to know any more? Ask me a question.
Quick and clear, I guess. I think the summary is that you don't have to worry for coming to the UK. Is that correct?
Correct. We have it all done. We know what we're doing.
Yes. So for the summary, I guess in bahasa, teman-teman sekalian atau rekan-rekan sekalian yang sudah bergabung di sini tidak perlu takut bahwa Michael Jones know what he's doing. His team has prepared everything, and GGH juga membantu untuk teman-teman bisa menjalani semuanya dengan mudah. Ini juga kita sudah dibantu oleh Pak Trigo bahwa bahkan ketika training di sana sudah ada salary yang diberikan seperti itu. So, I think we're open for any discussion. For any discussion. Jasmine, are you here with us? I guess Jasmine is here too. And you're still muted? Okay. Yeah. Pak Trigo, I think you're still muted.
Okay, I'm ready. Yeah, Amy will translate the for Jasmine. Any question for Jasmine, and then Jonathan will translate for Michael. Go ahead.
Iya. Tadi ada pertanyaan pertama. So there is a question from Jafar Lapandewa. He asked privately to my Zoom private chat, which is the first question is about salary in UK, the highest and the lowest, which is you have Pak Trigo, Mr. Trigo has answered that. And the second one is about the insurance system or jaminan untuk tenaga kerja selama di UK. English. Can somebody help me?
Trigo, panggilnya Trigo saja. Okay, Jasmine, maybe you can explain this one.
So with regards to the insurance, it depends on what type of insurance you want. For example, medical insurance, you don't really need that here in the UK because everything is free, everything is provided for. If you really want to have a medical insurance, it's up to you. Usually that works for private sectors. So for example, if you want, let's just say you want your replacement, you can have it in private with your insurance, but you can obviously have free hip replacement in the NHS. No, so that's the thing here in the UK. The healthcare is free. So if you're looking for a medical insurance, personally, you don't really need that because everything is free here in the UK.
Can I add in something there? It's important for your people watching to understand. If you go to America, you need insurance. If you go to Australia, you need insurance. If you go to countries where you're taking risk, you need insurance. The UK NHS is free at point of view. All insurance is taken on board by the NHS. All risk is taken by the NHS. As Yasmin said, the only time you might even need insurance is if you go to the private sector. The cost of being a nurse or a doctor in the UK is cheaper because we are one unit, one health service. So you don't have the extra cost coming in to pay for insurance that you would in Australia or America. And that's a very important point that your person raised. There is no insurance cost to be in the NHS. You're fully looked after by everything. No hidden charges, no charges to you in terms of your day-to-day work. It's all covered by the NHS.
Okay,
Amy,
great.
You want to translate that?
Oke, mungkin saya bantu translasi. Itu tadi dari Yasmin, tergantung asuransi yang diinginkan. Sebenarnya semua itu sudah di-cover oleh government. Kalau mau asuransi kesehatan tambahan, balik lagi ke masing-masing individu, apakah butuh atau enggak. Karena sebenarnya semua sudah tercover oleh NHS dan itu gratis. Kalau mau asuransi kesehatan tambahan itu biasanya digunakan di untuk rumah sakit swasta. Ya itu balik lagi ke pribadi masing-masing. House care itu free. Jadi kayak mungkin house care itu kayak kita nitipin anak-anak ya Pak ya. Benar nggak Pak Trigo? Mungkin bisa dibantu untuk yang ini?
Ya, untuk anak di bawah umur sampai umur 3 tahun itu nanti house care itu maksudnya untuk anak-anak itu
jasa penitipan anak.
Ya, penitipan anak itu gratis tapi dibayarin. Kalau kalian kuliah atau kerja, apalagi yang perawat itu kan essential. Nah, nanti itu dibayarin. Dan juga SD, SMP, SMA gratis ya di sini ya. Jadi kalau mau bawa anak, mau bawa keluarga, ya gratis. Nah, itu penting sekali. So, seperti yang Michael bilang, semuanya di sini kesehatan nasional, jadi sudah gratis. Sudah nggak perlu mikir kesehatan lain. Kecuali kalau misalnya giginya mau gigi kayak dari Hollywood gitu, ya bayar sendiri gitu. Oke, silakan.
Jadi nggak ada biaya yang ditutup-tutupi gitu, nggak ada biaya yang tiba-tiba plur keluar kayak gitu, nggak ada.
No. In England, as Yasmin said, we are national health insurance. Jadi mau potong kaki, mau operasi jantung, mau kanker, semua udah gratis. Jadi nggak perlu bingung. Mau melahirkan, everything has been paid by the national health insurance. Okay? So jadi seluruhnya itu gratis di sini. Jadi asuransi dari jiwa enggak ya, tapi kalau asuransi untuk kesehatan semua sini gratis. Kalau mobil harus asuransi, yang itu jelas ya. Kalau kalau HP-nya atau Rolex-nya ya itu ya sendiri ya. Rumah ya asuransi beda. Tapi yang jelas kalau mobilnya bagus ya perlu asuransi kan. Nah, ini penting perlu diketahui. So we do not need health insurance unless you want to have something else. And if you want to have beyond, like if you want for beauty, that's a different story. If you have, kalau misalnya punya wajah terbakar gitu, ya, nanti dibayarin plastiknya. Ya. But if you want to look like, kalau mau seperti kayak misalnya Jodie Foster, ya bayar sendiri. Itu beda. Ya. Itu maksud saya. Terima kasih.
Okay, very great explanation about the first question. This is a question coming from Dian Rahima, but I guess it has been answered, which is when we first come to UK, do we have to search for sponsor from the NHS Trust, or Great Global Hanlyn can provide and help finding the sponsor? I think Mr. Trigo has answered that. Or maybe you can try to answer this one again.
Michael, this is your part.
Okay, so anybody coming in through this system will only come to the UK with a sponsor in place and a job in place. There is no risk to anybody coming to Indonesia through the UK. You'll be fully looked after, have a job and a salary in place the minute you arrive in the UK. All done for you.
Okay, so Diana Hima, you hear from Michael that everything has to be settled, right?
It's all done before you arrive.
Okay, and then this is a question from Yasmin. A nice question. What are the advantages of practicing abroad, especially in UK, compared to your native country?
So the first thing is obviously financial. So UK pay more than what I used to earn back home in the Philippines. So I remember probably my yearly salary there is like a month of salary here in the UK. And also the opportunity to travel, because it's very close to all the nice beautiful places around Europe, and also just to experience, you know, a different way of living, because obviously I grew up in the Philippines all my life. Moving here is such a milestone. So, you know, every day, sometimes on my day off, I go for a nice walk along the River Thames. So it's the nice river that you can see usually in like movies about London. And, you know, it's amazing, like the different street food, the different culture. If you're into theaters and musical plays, literally it's right next door to you. So it's very alive, very diverse, very, very interesting experience, especially for those people that wanted to try or to experience living abroad. I mean, London is obviously, or UK basically, is one of the best countries to migrate to and then experience all those, you know, new things. So yeah, that is for me the advantages of moving from Philippines to here. I still get to go home at least once a year, which is really good. The thing with working in the NHS is they're very supportive with regard to your leaves. So they really want you to use it. So if you want to go home, you will not struggle. That's my experience, because for them, your happiness is really important. Your staff satisfaction is very important. So in comparison to my friends who works in America or Australia, Canada, sometimes the hospital are quite restricting because, again, probably because they're short of staff. Here, you've got the right to, if you want to go home, even for a reason that you are stressed about. They can send you home. They can, you know, okay, go for a break, you know, just, you know, take your time, and, you know, your mental health is more important. They're very much into that. So they're not going to be like those like leaders that be having a whip, just, you know, asking you to work 24/7. They're not like that. They're very supportive. You are the most important, you know, person in the system. So they need to look after you. They will make sure that you are happy and you are content and you're satisfied with the overall experience, really. So, you know what, if let's just say you immigrate here and then you know, let's just say, knock on wood, something happens back home and you really urgently need to go back home, they are very supportive that you're not going to struggle. They will even sometimes let you go home, you know, indefinitely, depending on when you want to go back. If you feel like you need to, you know, you're okay now, then you can go back It's not like you're gonna lose your job. They are very supportive on that. I think that's it.
Very nice explanation. Let me try to explain that in bahasa, which is poin pentingnya adalah bahwa personal happiness di sana itu sangat-sangat dijaga karena dalam sistem yang sudah disiapkan di UK, Anda sebagai pekerjanya atau seseorang yang bekerja di sana itu benar-benar adalah orang yang penting dan work-life balance-nya benar-benar dijaga. So, itu salah satu poin penting tadi yang saya tangkap dari banyak yang sudah disampaikan oleh Yasmin. Okay, let me go to the next question. This is from Ramadhani Akbar. She's actually a midwife, but I want to know how big is our chance as a health worker to have a career in the UK, especially like us who graduated from university in Indonesia. And what's the first step that we must do to prepare for career in UK? Thank you. And also related to that question, there is a question from Sulistiani Mahmuda sent to my private chat, which is in this program provided by Michael Jones and also GGH or Great Global Hanlyn, is it also for midwife? I think that's two questions, but one topic. Anyone, maybe from Trigo or Michael?
I'm happy to talk about that. Yeah, midwives are a big demand in our country. We'd seriously be looking at that. There are certain processes to get through OSCE on that, which is different. We would really invite you to put an application in and we would then walk you through it. But your experience will be vital for us. Midwifery is a growing demand in our country. One of the big problems in our country is that a lot of the midwives have been quite mature and they're retiring shortly because they get a very good pension. And as a consequence, we do have a natural gap and need for midwives in particular. It's a very important area. Slightly different needs and qualifications, but OSCE is OSCE, and we think we're going through. But I can tell you now, we have a lot of people interested in your CV.
Oke, jadi sudah dikonfirmasi, it is confirmed by Michael bahwa bidan sangat dibutuhkan, midwife also is very needed. So Pak Trigo in the chat room saying that send your CV, Great Global Hanlyn will help you to go. And then, okay, maybe Pak Trigo, is there any additional information about this midwife program from you?
Yes, as any, jawabnya bahasa Inggris, bahasa Jawa ya. Ya, ini untuk program ini sama sebetulnya ya. Ini carer juga kita butuh sekali di sini, carer ya untuk orang-orang. Orang kita itu terkenal sekali caring ya. Jadi rumah-rumah jompo itu banyak sekali orang kita. Kita pinter masak, pinter nembang, pinter cerita, ngobrol kan pinter orang kita loh. Nah itu mereka suka. Tapi midwifery yang bidan ya, itu benar-benar kekurangan di sini. Saya aja istri saya sedang hamil nih ya, itu harus nunggu. Nah itu penting sekali untuk kita ketahui. Tapi persyaratannya sama, ya harus bahasa Inggrisnya, harus lulus dulu. Makanya saya bilang tadi, ini kesempatan 50 pertama nih gratis diajarin biar lulus IELTS ya. Siapa aja. Jadi bukan hanya perawat tapi bidan, carer semuanya. Monggo silahkan. Nanti kita ajarin secara gratis itu. Itu penting sekali. Saya lihat ada question satu kalau boleh saya bilang. Pak Ahmad Rafiq itu bilang, kalau pandemik udah 4 week training itu dalam masa program pandemik, apakah 2 week karantin? Ya, saat ini masih belum diputuskan untuk tidak ada karantin ya. Jadi Presiden Prancis juga ke sini kemarin juga harus nginep 2 minggu di hotel. Jadi saat ini belum, Mas Ahmad Rafiq ya. So jadi mudah-mudahan secepatnya. Saya juga udah kepengen makan lemper ke Indonesia, jadi mudah-mudahan dibuka secepatnya. Thank you.
Okay, so the answer jadi sudah dijawab langsung ya oleh Pak Trigo, has been answered by Mr. Trigo. Oke.
Satu lagi, satu lagi. Pak Sutrisno, pedagang petani kacang, minta tanya apakah apoteker bisa juga daftar. Silahkan Pak, kalau memang mau jadi bidan di sini, tapi harus daftar dulu sebagai bidan. Jadi itu bisa sekali ya. Tapi saat ini tujuannya belum ke apoteker dulu, karena itu beda anunya izin-izinnya. Dan Pak Ahmad, kita ini sponsornya Pak, jadi suami istri bisa datang ke sini. kalau mau tinggal di UK. Silakan Pak Ahmad ya.
Oke, sudah dijawab langsung oleh Pak Trigo, jadi Pak Ahmad Rafiq sudah dibalas sekalian. Okay, the next question from Puspita. I think it is for Yasmin, I guess. How many hours work in 1 week, and does the night shift get extra salary there? And also, how long will be nurse assistant? I think how long it will be to be a nurse assistant. Is that correct?
Yes.
Do you get the point?
Yes. So first question is the hours in a week. So I work 37.5 hours in a week. So that is divided in 4 days. Okay, so it's up to you whether you want to work 5 days, up to you if you want to work 3 days, up to you, but you are entitled 37.5 hours in a week. Okay, so the rest you can either work as an overtime or a bank shifts, as what we call it. So night shifts, yes, depending on which area you're going to be in. If the area has got night shift, then you can obviously work, you will probably work on a night shift, and there is a night differential as well. I'm not quite sure how much in general, but I know that there's a bit of advantage working on weekends and then nights. So you get more per hour on what if you're going to be working weekends and nights. And then the last question was, what was the last question again? So the shifts, the hours, and then the
how long does it take to be nurse assistant?
Yes. So again, when you come here, you're gonna be starting off as a band 4 whilst waiting for your PIN number, whilst waiting for you to finish your exams and finish all the documentations until you get a PIN. So in relation to how long that is going to be, it's dependent on the processing of your documents, the examinations. If you pass it first try, then good. If you pass it on the second try, then that means that you're going to be extended a little bit. So basically, you will be a nurse, a qualified nurse, band 5 nurse, the moment you receive your NMC PIN. Because that means that you got a license now to work as a nurse. So prior to that, then you will be a band 4, or as what you call it, a nursing assistant, until you get qualified as a band 5. And then you slowly work yourself up there. So you can apply for a band 6, band 7, band 8, depending on you.
Oke, jadi ini semua tergantung sekali dengan processing dari dokumennya, kemudian untuk masalah waktunya adalah 37,5 jam ya dalam seminggu gitu, dan bisa diatur bisa 4 kali bahkan 5 kali seperti itu ya. Oke, this is coming from Ramadhani again. Is it possible for fresh graduate with no working experience before to apply job in UK, or should us have working experience before like 2 years or less? What about you, Yasmin, in your experience?
So in my experience, it was a requirement for us to have an experience, at least a year of hospital experience. There are trusts nowadays that will accept fresh graduates that don't have any experience. The information on that is also in gov.uk on the website. So, or the NMC website, or the Nursing and Midwifery Council website. So they also have that there. During my time, they required it. They required us to have at least a year experience. As far as I know, lately they have opened their doors to fresh graduates. Because again, when you come here, they will train you anyway. So they're not just gonna throw you straight into the dungeon and then burn. So usually they will train you with all your skills, knowledge necessary for you to be able to do your job. So yes, so just double check on the website. I'm sure they've changed it. So I'm not quite sure whether they are open now to fresh graduates, but
Fire Dragon.
Okay, thank you Yasmin for the very clear answer. Ya, Pak Trigo mungkin ada yang mau ditambahkan?
Ya mute, oh enggak ya. Iya, jadi saat ini kita sedang mencari karena kebutuhannya mendesak ya. Jadi kita butuh yang sudah qualified, yang sudah ada pengalaman. Karena kalau mulai dari fresh kita belum siap. Tapi kita akan ada program itu nanti di Indonesia. Jadi yang seperti Yasmin bilang itu tidak ada, nanti kalian di sini pasti dituntun tergantung kemauan kalian sejauh mana akan diturutin sama mereka. Jadi tidak ada nggak ada sokok-sokokan, nggak ada lain-lainnya. Pokoknya semuanya itu harus langsung terserah kalian. Kalau kalian mau ban 5, ban 7 spesial ya dibantu terus sama mereka lah. Ya. Nah, disinilah yang paling penting ya. Dan kalau dilihat dari Indonesia mungkin sekarang yang alumni yang sudah kerja di hospital, yang sudah perawat itu sekarang saya anjurkan kalau Inggrisnya masih belum bagus silahkan daftar langsung kita ajari tes teorinya.
Oke, mungkin menyambung sedikit Pak Trigo. Ini ada pertanyaan terkait pengalaman. Apakah pengalaman sebagai relawan COVID juga termasuk dihitung sebagai pengalaman?
I think I will ask Michael for this one, or Jasmine actually. Michael or Jasmine, the experience as volunteering in COVID, as a volunteer, as a nurse, as a COVID, is that counted as an experience to be qualified to apply for our program?
Okay, so I can answer that. We have currently 70 nurses who are coming since November onto this course. They are staying with us over COVID because they can't move, but they've all been working in trust hospitals with COVIDs, without COVIDs, and we think that the experience is absolutely valid. It's the same business as usual. COVID is very bad, it's very tough, it's very different, but it's for the nurses' experience, it's business as usual. We've had no difference in our process, and this process going through, when you come from abroad, you have a quarantine period here, which is fun in many different ways, and then you go straight in. But no, the COVID does not affect your training or what it has done is close off OSCE. There's been no OSCE exams, but then you're allowed to come on board without OSCE exams interim, which has been interesting as well. But the OSCEs are now coming back on board soon, so that's okay.
Okay.
Jasmine, you want to say anything more?
Maybe Yasmin, you have something more?
I think Michael has covered it. So yeah, no changes with regards to the COVID situation. We are still, business as usual, plus the PPEs. So just the only difference is we're just like wearing all those PPEs, protective testing. We have that antibody tests, swabs. We are regularly tested. So with regards to the COVID situation here in the UK, the government or the hospitals are coping very well. So the hospitals are not, they are not overwhelmed with the cases. There are still cases out there, but again, the hospitals are coping well. So they are, they're able to provide you with safety measures, basically.
Okay, thank you very much for the very clear answer, Yasmin and Michael. Okay, I think this is the last question that we will talking about, and this is for Mr. Trigo. Jadi dikirimkan secara personal, Pak Trigo, ini dari, let me see, dari, ya, pertanyaannya adalah bila saya, ini dari Rika Puspita, bila saya adalah lulusan diploma 3, Pak. Nah, itu apakah bisa langsung mendaftar ataukah harus melalui S1 terlebih dahulu, seperti itu?
Langsung kasih ke saya CV-nya kalau sudah D3. Itu qualified sekali, ya.
Oke, jadi
langsung kasih CV ke saya. Langsung daftar sekarang untuk bahasa Inggrisnya biar lulus.
Oke, siap untuk Bu Rika. Ini yang tadi bertanya, jadi langsung dikirim aja Bu untuk CV-nya kalau sudah D3 gitu ya. Ya, ini juga Pak Sutrisno, rata-rata D3 juga bisa langsung dikirimkan ke www.greatglobalhanlyn, sudah ada di chatroom.
Nah, itu Pak Sutrisno, langsung kirim saja yang sudah 1-2 tahun masih lajang sih. Enggak, maksudnya iya. Langsung saja, kalau udah D3 silakan, itu qualified. Ya.
Oke.
Nah, itu Puspita ketawa-ketawa tuh ya, masih lajang. Okay.
Sudah senang gitu. Oke. I think Dr. Selinka, do you have something to add? Selinka.
I just want to clarify what Ahmad Rafi was asking. Maybe I'm not sure. I think that's for him.
I'm sorry, Dr. Selinka. Can you repeat what you said?
I was just clarifying what Ahmad Rafi was asking earlier.
Okay, so clarifying the question that.
Ya, sorry sebentar. Tadi agak berebut Mbak Selinka. Ya, Mbak Dr. Selinka, you are right. Pertanyaannya adalah apakah volunteer sebagai experience sebagai di normal habis dalam COVID itu termasuk sebagai pengalaman sebagai perawat bisa qualify untuk mendaftar. So I have asked Michael about that, but I think he missed it a little bit as well. The question is, Yasmin, you might know this as well. Will volunteering at the COVID situation at the moment counted as experience to be qualified to apply for our program? That's actually the question.
So
the answer is yes. The answer is we want the experience, COVID experience. We have it. It is yes. We want that experience.
So I think Michael understood the question, and I think Yasmin want to add it. Please, Yasmin, sorry about that.
Yeah, so I'm going to add a little bit about that. So I'm just going to rephrase the question. The question is your COVID experience counted as your experience when you apply for your qualification? Yes, as long as you are working and you've been employed in a particular hospital, that is an experience. So as long as you can prove that you are employed of this hospital and you're working during the COVID times, then yes, that is an experience. So it doesn't matter where you're going to be, if you're going to be in public health, or if you're going to be in a district nurse, if you're going to be an ITU nurse or ward nurse, or, as long as you are working under your license as a nurse or a doctor, then, and you're employed to a hospital or to a healthcare facility, then that is basically your experience. So just apply, and then, that will be accounted for.
Oke, thank you Yasmin. Pak Trigo, ini Cecilia Novia menanyakan terkait maksimalnya pengalaman kerja berapa tahun Pak yang dibutuhkan?
Mungkin bukan maksimal ya, minimum mungkin ya.
Oh ya, sorry, minimum requirement.
Harusnya minimum. Sebetulnya asal ada pengalaman ya, kalau lebih bagus lebih lama ya. Tapi kalau 6 bulan setahun juga kalau sudah terdaftar sebagai yang tadi Yasmin bilang, harus sudah terdaftar sebagai perawat resmi ofisial di salah satu hospital, rumah sakit, itu udah qualify gitu. Jadi itu penting sekali. Memang ya, pertanyaan bagus itu sebetulnya. Dan yang lebih lagi, ini ada pertanyaan tadi saya lihat serius ini. Nah ini ya itu yang tadi udah ya Cecilia, ya betul. Jadi itu udah benar. Jadi yang jelas itu berapapun pengalamannya, asal yang penting lulus Inggrisnya. Nah ini yang paling penting.
Okay, maybe one very last question about apakah ada program ekstensi dari D3 ke S1 Pak di sana?
Ya, sudah dari tadi dijelaskan oleh Yasmin ya. Yasmin already explained it so big. wherever you want to go, terserah sampean. Mau sampai mana diturutin. Sampai S1 mau jadi spesialis, mau jadi apa saja, kalau memang sampean mau, ya itu nanti ada caranya untuk seperti itu. Tapi semua keinginan apapun untuk mencapai karir tertinggi bisa sekali.
Okay, I think Miss Dominic question is considered as the last question for today's program. We would like to invite you all to look at the screen. This is the media social for Great Global Hanlyn. If you have any more question, kalau Anda punya pertanyaan lebih lanjut, silahkan kunjungi media sosial yang ada di layar Anda ini. Kemudian kami mengucapkan terima kasih sekali atas partisipasi rekan-rekan sekalian. We also saying very thank you for the speakers for today, Michael, Yasmin, and also Mr. Trigo for explaining very clearly to us about the program, the nurse program. And we also want you to remember that ada 50 free program untuk pelatihan bahasa Inggris ya. Jadi bisa langsung kontak GGH di sosial medianya lewat Instagram juga bisa. Ini 50 khusus untuk 50 pendaftar pertama. So check out their Instagram. Instagramnya ada di layar ya. Sebentar. Ada di layar. Jadi Instagramnya adalah Great Global Hanlyn. Ini silakan dikunjungi ataupun bisa menghubungi via yang lain seperti itu. Maybe one last word from Mr. Trigo or Yasmin or Michael.
Michael, go ahead. Jasmine, I think they heard enough of me.
There was a question earlier about racism here in the UK. Honestly, UK is probably one of the most open countries in the world. Like in our own hospital, we have got over 40 different nationalities. So when you come here, it's not like you feel so alone and so isolated because the rest of you are actually, from different countries. So it's like a mixture of different nationalities. So when you come here, even if English is not your first language, even if your culture is different, even if your belief is different from, but again, everybody is different here in the UK. It's a mix of different culture, different traditions, different beliefs, different languages. If you've got an accent, that's not a problem. People here are very open and very free and very engaging. So don't feel scared that when you come here, you will experience racism. Because personally, UK is very open, very diverse as a country. That's it.
Thank you, Yasmin. So, Mr. Trigo, last chance. Ada sampai yang perlu disampaikan kembali?
Seperti yang Yasmin saya bilang ya, kesempatan kita GGHanlyn memberikan kesempatan. Dengar nggak saya? Can you hear me? Ya. Kita GGHanlyn memberikan kesempatan semua rata tanpa kecualian, tanpa pandang bulu, agama, lain-lainnya, kita akan membantu. Dan seperti Yasmin bilang, di Inggris itu mau aksennya, mau aksen Joe, jadi siapapun itu di sini tidak ada perbedaan. Jangan khawatir kalau punya aksen, mau aksen Jawa, mau aksen Sumatera. Dan Yasmin juga bilang di sini itu di tempat dia kerja ada 50 nationality. Ya, jadi jangan khawatir, nanti pasti dibantu, nanti pasti merasa kayak di rumah sendiri. Dan saya lupa bilang di Apollo itu ada juga anunya ya, musolanya ya, sudah ada ya. Jadi untuk yang praktis itu pasti nanti terpikir. So, itu dari saya. Kalau menurut saya sih ini kesempatan luar biasa ya, diberi biaya semua dari sini nanti kalau udah lulus mari kita meningkatkan usaha untuk Indonesia mengirim skilled worker, dan juga masih tetap TKI tapi juga skilled worker dikirim. Dan kemudian saya juga nanti senang banyak orang Indonesia di sini bisa bikin lemper, bisa bikin mendoan, bisa bikin lain-lainnya juga. Saya juga senang pinter-pinter masak orang Indonesia pasti. Nah itu Dr. Selinka juga udah belajar bikin Indomie katanya. Saya mau tunggu. So anyway, that's from me. Jadi terima kasih sekali Dr. Tia. This is wonderful. My team, thank you so much. Terima kasih tim Pak Aho, Tila, Ami, semua, and Yasmin. Thank you so much to take of your precious time at the work. And also, Michael, last word, please.
I think Michael has already
Check out.
yeah.
Ya, oke. Ya, dia sibuk karena dia lagi interview dengan India juga sekarang. So anyway, on behalf of Michael, Apollo, I say thank you. Terima kasih semuanya. Dan jangan malu-malu ya. Ini 50 pertama ya. Siapa dapat, dia dapat. Siapa cepat, dia dapat. Jadi sekarang juga slogannya diganti ya. Jadinya dulu kan mangan orang mangan ngumpul ya. Sekarang beda. Ngumpul nggak ngumpul mangan. Jadi jangan khawatir pergi ke England nanti bisa tetap kerja, bisa mangan. Oke, thank you.
Thank you. Terima kasih.
Okay, that is the last for today. Terima kasih sekali. Thank you Yasmin for joining with us. Terima kasih untuk lebih dari 70-80 partisipan yang sudah bersama kami hari ini. Semoga bisa bertemu pada kesempatan berikutnya, dan please go check out GGH social media account for more information about pursuing career as nurse in the UK. That is for today. See you on the next webinar. Bye.
Thank you, Tia.
Thank you very much, everyone.
Very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much, everyone. Have a good day.
See you in UK. See you in UK.